9 years in China with old teacher Kenny. Hope everybody's doing okay. Hope you're watching some of the videos and subscribing to my channel. You better subscribe. Today I'll get back on the subject of food a little bit. Shortly after arriving in Huainan, me and my girlfriend Mary were prowling the city and looking around, at all the shops and trying to learn where the supermarkets are. And they have the two biggest supermarkets they have there are big supermarkets, but they still don't have lots of things. Me, an American, things like butter and cheese and milk, and I love fresh milk, and it's always in a shortage at that time. This would have been 2011, somewhere in there. And you go to, a big supermarket, and you go back to the dairy section, and lucky to find any fresh milk. Very often, if we could not find fresh milk, you had to buy milk in these little 250 milliliter, little like juice box size, and I could drink those fast. You get a case of 24 and it's gone. 2 days later it's gone. But you got to do what you got to do. You're a stranger in a strange land. So, and cheese could be hit and miss also. But usually you could find a few small packages of cheese somewhere. It wasn't like when I was in Huainan. You literally had to wait. Then they finally opened this big $1.05 supermarket where you could find cheese. But Huainan, to me, seems smaller, maybe richer, but it seems smaller than Huainan. But anyhow, and butter, oh my God, it's terrible. But one day, we had been at the Huainan Park, and maybe I'll get to do some video on that if I can find some photos. This series of videos I'm doing on Huainan is really hard because I lost many photos. Excuse me. I had a USB get corrupted that had a lot of those photos on it, so I'm gonna get all the videos put together I can, and then we'll jump to another city. But one day we were walking out of Huainan Park, and the road in front of the park was one of those roads where all the street merchants were selling like old coins and Mao Zedong pictures and Chinese school books and things like that, antiques. And I enjoy seeing that stuff and talking to the merchants a little bit. They see the foreigner and they're trying to sell me everything. They're trying to sell me jade that I know is not jade, and whatnot. But we were walking along, just prowling, exploring, because all we got to do is, we can get a taxi and go home anytime or get on a bus. And we kind of round this corner, and I saw all these people going in by a little shop. It was like an alleyway. And I said, well, let's go see what's going on. It's my idea, something new. And we go in, and right away I could tell by right outside the doors of this huge building is a street market. So we go looking in the street market, and man, I wish I had photos to show you. We had people picking up fish and showing us fish and whatnot. And right when I walked in, one of the first things I noticed, and they did a good job. The tanks had very, very clear water. All the fish looked really fresh and healthy, not so many dead fish. So you go to some of these markets and, the fish are belly up and been dead for a while, and I don't want that. If I get a fish, I want fresh fish. And in China, the only thing I would eat would either catfish or bass. They had largemouth bass in China, and I'm assuming most of them were pond raised, but by now I would think a lot of the rivers and lakes probably have them also. I bet if you took a topwater bait to just about any lake, you might be able to catch a bass. But right away I noticed these tanks. They had largemouth bass, and they were just perfect size for eating, fillet. So after we prowled around the market and looked at the meat and vegetables, and we bought some knickknacks, and we went over and picked out some bass to fry, and I told them I want like 4. I think we got 4 the first time. And I told them what size I wanted, and they get a net, and they go in there and they dip out the bass, and boom, 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 boom. They pop it in the head and kill it and put it in a plastic bag for us. And we were walking out talking. I look right across the street, and there's a bakery. And ta-da! I get a brainstorm. Stand back. Kenny was getting a brainstorm. Butter. They cook all the time with butter. I know they do. And not a bakery in the world doesn't use butter. So we go over there, and Mary is talking to the owner, telling them that we're having such a hard time finding butter. We really like to have some butter. And just so happened they have it in abundance there. And they brought out a cube of a kilo, however much it was, and it was only like 17 yen, and cheap. So we go home now with fish and butter, and I bought butter from that little bakery almost the whole time I was in Huainan, because you could get it in abundance, and it tasted, it was fresh bakery butter. It had that good smell, it didn't, it wasn't margarine. It was real straight from the cow butter. So that was a big deal. And so just by exploring, one of my favorite things, messing around, we're finding street market, a good one, a really good one, not a poor street market. Lots of fresh stuff. Chicken, great place to buy chicken and everything. We found the butter that's so hard to find, so it made shopping a lot easier for us. But there are challenges when you're living in China finding certain things, and if seasonings. A lot of the seasonings are going to have Chinese writing on them, and if you're lucky, they'll have English. You might see like cinnamon or something, and you recognize what it is. But other than that, it can be really hard shopping in China. The fruits and vegetables are easy. The meats are really easy. Now you have to buy them however they got them wrapped, though. And sometimes you could tell a shop owner if you didn't see any ground beef, that they would actually grind it for you and put it in a bag. And that's pretty cool. American supermarkets, I've never seen that done. But anyhow, a little success story about finding some food in China in my second city, Huainan. Anyhow, got some more videos to come, and I hope I will see you later, okay? Bye. Bye.